There are tons of Roblox obbies. Some are short, some are long, some are easy, some are hard. But then there's this one, Eternal Towers of Hell. Which is it? Easy, hard, long, short? Well, actually, it's all of them. This game consists of some relatively easy obbies to some of the hardest obbies in all of Roblox that few people even try. Yeah, and I kinda wanted to beat one. Now, I'm not exactly the greatest at obbies, so here's how it's going to work. To prepare for the big tower that's hopefully going to prove that I'm a master, I'm going to do one tower from the easy to difficult difficulty, and then do the big one at the end. With all that said, let the journey begin. The story begins in Purgatorio, this game's version of a tutorial. This place has tons of information and guides that I did not read. So, with no knowledge of the game's mechanics, I hopped into... Obviously, as the first tower that most players will complete, this tower was not that hard. It was just simple pushing planks, walking on these floating platforms, jumping on these spinning ones, and just like that, it was an easy victory. So, I went up the elevator of honor and was greeted with a message. Hey, well done on beating a tower. We welcome you to Ito, and you have what it takes to become one of the best Roblox hobbyists. Now go keep completing towers and exploring more areas. And I didn't care. But then I found out in order to move on to the next world, I needed to beat 3 towers. So I ended up beating the Tower of Critical Damage and the Tower of Buttons. Do you want to tell them, or should I tell them? Tell them what? Like, okay, that's it, I'm playing the clip. No, please! I would not like it if they didn't. Whoa! Stop it, it's not funny! Yep, you saw that right. I just fell all the way down on one of the easiest towers in the entire game. And then rage quit. I eventually did beat it, but this surely doesn't mean anything about the harder towers, right? Anyway, after finally beating 3 towers, it was time to move on to Ring 1. Ring 1 was pretty interesting. It had a brand new selection of towers, higher difficulties, and cat therapy, if you needed it. Because I had already done multiple easies already, I headed into... As the name suggests, this tower drove me absolutely mad. Nah, I'm just kidding. This tower was ridiculously easy. It's pretty much just jumping off of walls, getting confused on where to go just to realize that there's a wall jump right behind you, jumping on hanging platforms, become a human battering ram, slum conveyor belt jumps, going outside where the grass is at a safe distance, and a lot of the same until you beat it. For this next one, I accidentally did 2 hard towers, thinking one of them was a difficult. Well, both caused me substantial pain. I'm going to talk about the one that caused me more pain, which was... I couldn't come up with anything original for this, so if you liked the video, subscribe. And if you want to get pinged for live streams and stuff, join the Discord server. I guess. I don't know. Now, the start of Tower of Killjoys is actually extremely easy. It's just a couple of jumps that it's easy to miss, but they're very forgiving. And then you have this part where even if you stand right in front of the launcher, it won't damage you enough to kill you as long as you're moving. Then the path split in two, with a shortcut on one side, and an easy one for low-skilled players on the other. Guess which one I picked the whole time. Then, whenever you got back, you had to do this jump, press this button, and then jump back on, which I failed lots of times. Then, I continued up the path until I met with my first fall. So I quickly made my way back up, and completed the jump successfully this time. Just to fall again! Are you starting to get why this is called the Tower of Killjoys? I made my way all the way back up it again, just for me to fall again! On the fourth attempt of this jump, I finally ended up getting it and moved on to the next part. This part was pretty easy. It was just spam jump again, push the button, spam jump back, and then walk forward on this platform. It's teleported me to this place where I quickly did the obby, abused the fact that the platforms were small enough to jump onto, and then completed that part, and oh my gosh, I beat it! Oh. This is the part of the obby where if you fall, it actually starts to get quite punishing. And as you've seen because of the clips, not falling isn't exactly the greatest in my skill set. Which is not fun, considering the first obstacle you have to do here is hanging over the air. But despite the obstacles, I pushed on. I completed the wall jumping section, and then it was time for... Okay. Those tightropes are always intense. Anyway, after me doing the next obstacle, which was just me failing this block puzzle multiple times, you put the block on the button, get up here, grab the yellow key, and put it through the door. Then you have these small jumps I totally didn't fail on, and you move on to the next level. This level is where you have to collect 20 lockpicks from little mini obstacles, and then put them through the door so that you can get to the next level. They were all decently easy though. There was this seizure one, you had to jump over here to grab this one, and there was one at the end of the seizure one. I was on a roll. There was no way I was gonna... It really wasn't that bad of a fall because I had already done all the obstacles before, but 3 minutes of going all the way back up later, I was able to input all the keys I had gotten. I grabbed the rest of the 6 keys, input all of them into the door, and then I was having trouble with this, so I went into first person, which ended up being a mistake because... It's fine because I made my way all the way back up and... oh. Well, it's fine. I made my way all the way back up again and finally made it. After that, the obby was super easy. Wall wraps, easy. Stairs, easy. Pushing a block, easy. Pushing a block, easy. After using a balloon to reach new heights, dodging this poisonous spinner, and doing this really annoying block puzzle, I had finally beaten it. And then went to cat therapy because, you know, like, might as well take advantage of a free resource. And so, I took on the final challenge before the test of mastery. Oh, and, it was called... Just like always, the start of the obby is not that difficult. You got some wall wraps here, spinning platform, long wall wrap, jumps. It was all pretty simple, really. Cleared this one part, jumped on this wall, after failing multiple times. Got a little nervous at this wall wrap, but continued on. I ended up making it to orange, totally getting this jump first try, making it to purple, making it to black. Almost failed this jump, really messing up on this part. Did the ice level, made it to red, did this head hitter jump, and made it to yellow. Wait, yellow? That's the second last stage. This is going a little too smoothly. I walked to the next part, and despite having the order literally inside of my chat box, I still camera checked all of them. I made it to the end of the bridges and was met with these two jumps. After a long time, I jumped. Okay, made the first one. Come on, second one. Give me 3 for 3. I fell to red. I managed to get the head hitter jump again and made my way all the way back up to where I was and successfully completed the jump. Now the only thing that was stopping me from getting to the final level were these small pillars. I immediately jumped into the first one but kept missing the second jump. I kept missing it over and over again, but when I finally made the jump and tried jumping to the third one, this next part really discouraged me. I landed at blue. Not too bad of a landing spot. I quickly did the skinny rope thing and made it over to the wall wrap. It's just a wall wrap. I can just quickly do it and get back. I just fell down the entire obby. After many attempts, thinking that I was at the end, just to fall like that. But I still wanted to beat it. So I hopped back onto the obby. Green, blue, orange, purple, black. I was on a roll. Blue, red, and then finally, I met yellow again. I did the bridges, while still camera checking the last two, did the jumps, and finally was met with these stupid, annoying, slim platforms. But this time I didn't hesitate. Jumped 1, jumped 2, jumped 3, all first try. Jumped for the 4th one, jumped for the 5th one, and the final 6th one. I made it to the second part. Climbed the trusses. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I climbed the truss to the final zone. Some platforming? Easy. Decently big wall wrap? No problem. Jumping above a platform above me? Simple. Oh shoot. That thing was thinner than the annoying platforms that had cost me a lot of time. But this time, I wasn't going to fall. I inched my way onto the tightrope. I reached the first corner, the second corner, the third corner, all the way until the end. I inched my way towards the end, and then I jumped. I jumped into the winner's square and had finally beaten this stupid obby. And gotten some complimentary cat therapy. Again. 'Cause why not? But this isn't over. I still have one final task to do. And this one happens on stream. It's called... For the first part of the obby, I was just getting used to all the new obstacles. I finished this yellow part, got up to this orange part, did this, jumped over here. I got confused on how to do this, but luckily people were there to help me. I got through the rest of the floors with relative ease until I got met with my first roadblock. Which was this floor, which was genuinely super annoying for all of the stupid reasons you can think of. First you hit this red button, then you climb up here, then you hit this button, then you hit this button, and another button. Now you might be asking, wait, this actually looks really easy. How are you having trouble with this? Well, it's not the inside of the tower I'm worried about. It's the outside. And again, it's for stupid reasons. After you take some force damage, you get out here to this box, which takes you to multiple levels. First, you have this slim rope one, which I totally never fell on. Then you have this moving platform one, which I also did not fall on. But then I headed to the actual roadblock, which was this time trial one. You have to beat this whole thing in 20 seconds. It doesn't seem that hard, and it really isn't. Unless you're me. The thing about me is I suck so bad at time trials because I'm trying to go slow so I don't fall, to the point where the timer ends before I'm even halfway through the obby. So after falling multiple times, for stupid reasons, I just thought that I couldn't beat it. Until... Yeah, this dude single-handedly carried the stream. He told me I could stand on this invisible block, which made me be able to go just fast enough in order to press the button. And this wouldn't be the first time he helped me. Anyway, with that, I climbed this ladder, pressed the last button, and climbed up to the white floor. Which, honestly, besides this platform that tries to push you off, there's really nothing of note on here. Anyway, after going in here from white, you do this really long, boring section to get to the basement. The basement was relatively simple, too. It was just the next platform, you jump over here, and then you're already on to the next level. The second level has these one-way platforms that you have to constantly jump up to, and then you have one of my least favorite obstacles ever, and then you move on to the next level. And after successfully navigating around the spinner, and doing these tightropes, I made it to the final level. Which ended up having an unintended skip, I found out, so... I beat it 100% fairly. After speeding through the blue part, I got to the outside yellow part, where all we had to do was climb this ladder, jump on this platform, and get to this extremely unsafe elevator. Which I somehow never fell out of. For the pink floor, you have this time thing again, which I genuinely thought I wouldn't be able to beat until I quickly mastered it, and then I found yet another unintended skip. I think I couldn't find the real way to do this, I don't know. But anyway, after climbing up to this green part, doing the small obby thing, and then climbing up here, you finally made it to the blue floor. This floor! No words. This floor. That's it. This floor's gimmick is that it's always spinning. Not too big of a problem, right? And you're right. I quickly got over to this jump. Are you starting to see the problem here? This floor is so annoying. It spins around, so it completely ruins the muscle memory of everything you've done before this, and then once you finally get out of here, you get to the outside, which is the same thing, except if you fall an entire floor. It took me 15 minutes just to do the outside of this tower, but it was what was after it that was worse. When I made it to the top, I stuttered a little bit, but I finally jumped up and got to the X platform to go to the next area. And awaiting me over there was... a button? Oh no. Yep, another time trial. But this time, the time was not the hardest part. In fact, it wasn't even remotely close. The main issue was a skill issue. For me. Things that should not have been hard were proving to be pretty difficult for no reason. Like this first jump, it's literally just a wall wrap, and I missed it multiple times. It was a decent while before I even landed the first jump right, but the other parts of the obby still gave me a decent amount of trouble. And when I finally made it to this latter part, I kept missing it over and over again. Until... Okay, using the same joke twice in a row kind of lessens its value. But Hill really did help a lot. Apparently the way I did it wasn't even the intended way, but I don't care because at least now I could finally actually beat purple without crashing out too much. Anyway, I made my way to the next floor, which was black. The black floor actually didn't really have anything of note besides the wall hop, so I continued up the rest of the floor and made it to pink. I was doing pretty good, and then... Starting from this jump, there was a turning point. You see, whenever I was doing the obby, I would fall a lot. It's not that big of a deal, but each time I fell, I would get madder. And then the madder I was, the faster I'd go, the more mistakes I make, it was a loop. And this obby started to take absolutely forever. I put hours into it on stream, hours into it off stream, and I just couldn't seem to do anything. So, I decided to stop. I'm not quitting the obby. I'll come back to it. But for now, it remains that way. So, Citadel of laptop splitting. Well, your name doesn't apply, as I own a PC and not a laptop. I'll see you again. But next time, I'll win. You know, it's pretty convenient I put that kinda there.